أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين إنه خير ناصر ومعين وصلى الله على آل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين سيما بقية الله في الأرضين روحنا وجسمنا فداك يا مولانا يا صاحب الأسر والزمان اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. This is the most difficult night for all the mu'mineen because our master Imam al-Hussein and the Holy Family are now feeling that this is the night before the most day of difficulty which is coming tomorrow. Try to put yourself in a situation, we can only try, and to feel how hard that situation is now. But at the same time, the best gift which we can give to Imam al-Hussein is to try to learn from his sacrifice, why he sacrificed, and those companions who actually were the best ones he had. He called them the best ones. Why did he call them the best ones?
Those companions, nothing can describe how amazing they were, how amazingly loyal they were. And on Ashura night it said that Imam Hussein alayhi salam didn't want to keep anyone against their will. And so much so that he had got them around, he turned off the lights and said, "Look, I'm lifting my bay'ah from everyone. There's no sin upon you if you leave now." And no one left. And that's a sign that they really, really understood their imam and their responsibility to their imam. Not only that, but there's one thing doing it because it's wajib or the responsibility to the imam, but there's another thing doing it for the love of the imam. And that just makes everything so much more profound.
Yes.
Everything that you do is done with mahabba, with love, and it's done with a smile on your face and done willingly. And that night it said that the sounds of them doing dhikr was like the buzzing of the bees. And
MashaAllah.
I was just trying to think, like, what an atmosphere, what an electrifying atmosphere. If I could just be that fly on the wall over there, just to experience that, it would have been an amazing feeling, I'm sure. And how do we learn those lessons and how do we implement them for our own lives? And it's very apt for us because it's not just something for the historical books.
Yeah.
It's something that we can implement in our own lives, because just like they had their imam of their time, we have our imam of our time.
MashaAllah. Very good point.
Just the way that they had their responsibilities and accepted that they have a responsibility to the imam, we have a responsibility to imam, and we need to accept that and recognize that. But not only do it because of our responsibility, but because just the way they had that intense love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for the imam. Because if you think about this, and I was just thinking about this today, funnily enough, was that if someone was to threaten me with my life, I would do everything to make sure that my life is preserved. But then if you have a goal, a particular goal in mind, and a strong love and association with that goal, then you'd give up anything to achieve that goal. And these people, these companions of the imam, knew that and understood that. And that bond they had, that relationship with the imam, was amazing. So that is something for us to bear in mind for our imam.
Absolutely.
So how do we do that? So the first thing is we need to create that relationship with our imam. And it's not just a superficial relationship where we recite dua nudba, for example, or we understand or we know that he exists. But it's something that we need to have the relationship such that we know he's in front of us. So we need to know about him, what he likes, what he doesn't like, what his attributes are. And as a result, we'll create this whole life and boundaries around us that will make that relationship between us and our Imam that bit more special.
Amazing. It's very, very good. I think that when you give these examples, surely there are some people who have made a connection with the Imam, whilst others have not.
Yes.
And it feels like also that there is a journey which these people have gone through, but because they went through a bit of journey, the Imam also chose them.
Yes. True.
As I think that that's, and all of these people, personalities in Karbala, on Ashura, they had different backgrounds they came with.
That is the amazing bit about it, right? They were not just Shias or Muslims. There were so many different backgrounds, right? And what's amazing to see is the whole journey of Imam Hussein going from Medina all the way to Karbala. They passed so many people. Imam Hussein never wasted an opportunity to tell them to come. Those people who understood that responsibility, had that love, that connection, they came onto that arc of salvation. But plenty of people did not. And when you bring it down to this day and age, we have no excuse now, because the arc of our Imam is flowing and we all know about it. In this day and age, we all know about it. So now, are we going to be one of those people that will go on to the ark of salvation? Or are we going to be of those who know about it but reject it? And the reason why I say reject is because we know there is no excuse of us not knowing about it. And the fact that we reject it is even worse than being ignorant about it. So very poignant points for us to think about.
Absolutely, and I feel now inside of me a heavy heart, because now suddenly through this discussion we feel that there is a responsibility on us. I wonder if we can wake up tomorrow and be the same person. You should think about that. Take a few seconds to think about this. We have built up ourselves through these nights, and we have now reached a point where we have a choice. Husseini, or dare I say, not. Inshallah, may we all become Husseinis.
Ameen, inshallah, inshallah.
I have one certain story for tonight. And I saved this story for how the world can change, your situation can change through Imam Hussein alayhi salam. You know, there was a man, a great alim. Alim means the Islamic scholar, the most learned. He was very, very learned. He was a Sayyid. His name is Muhammad Hussein, Sayyid Muhammad Hussein Burujardi. If you ask your grandparents, may Allah bless them, you can ask them, your grandparents, did you do the taqleed of Ayatollah Burujardi? He was the marja before Sayyid al-Khoy. And the question then comes in, how did he become the super marja? He was the only marja of his time. But there is a story which is connected to Imam Hussein. When he was a youth, and he was a fantastic student in the Hawza. Hawza being the Islamic school, Hawza Ilmiya. And he studied, and he studied, and he was so talented, mashallah. Suddenly he got a report that his eyes were becoming weaker. And you can relate. You are in the field of correcting people's eyesight and helping them. May Allah bless you. Can you imagine that one of the most brightest students comes and says, my eyes are going. What shall I do? And there was no cure for it at that time. And he was so depressed. And then Muharram came, the month of Muharram. At that point, he decided that it's not enough to cry for myself. It's not worth it. I will connect with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And he went to a majlis. And he sat there in the corner thinking and connecting with Imam. Towards the end of the majlis, what happens? People stand up for the matam. And something came into his mind, an inspiration. Sayyid Ayatullah Burujardi, when the matam is going on, he goes into the matam. And he picks up with his hand the soil. In those days, you had open ground matam. It was not like carpeted. And he picks up the soil and he puts that soil onto his eyes. That night he went to sleep. He says after that night when he woke up, he never had problems with his eyes ever again. You go and look at Wikipedia anywhere and you look at Ayatollah Burjardi, you will see that beautiful white face, white beard, no glasses. And he, up to the age, excelled age, he was the marja, and he reached that level through the barakah of Imam Hussein.
That's a really, really pertinent story. And just a reminder for us that that level of azadari of Imam Hussein, so much so that the dust of the azadari of Imam Hussein can cause such an amazing
Absolutely, absolutely. On that point, the dust, the Holy Prophet ﷺ says, Ya Ali, if I was not afraid of how people revered Nabi Isa, I would take the dust under your feet and have it as an amulet for myself.
SubhanAllah.
These are the personalities who we are talking about.
How lucky we are, right?
Amazing, amazing. So tonight, we have built ourselves on how to mourn, how to cry. Now is the time to open our hearts, to cry for Imam al-Hussein. Tonight we have the role model of role models. On the plains of Karbala, the bodies are lying. Imam al-Hussein is alone and he goes out to the battlefield. In each direction he shouts, Hal min nasirin yansurna, Hal min murithin yurithna. Is there anyone who is here to help us? And he goes in every direction through the time and space, he shouts. And we should all say, we are here, we are your Hussainis. No one answers, but there is one Mujahid. He jumps from his cradle. Rabab says that my son Ali al-Asghar jumped from the cradle when he heard his Imam, his father. Can you imagine? Imam Hussein doesn't have anyone but a 6-month-old baby. He answers. Imam al-Hussein goes back to the tent. The Rubab tells him that your son is ready for you. He says, yes, I'll take him. He takes him out. The enemies, they think that he's coming with the Quran bundle. But my brothers and sisters, you know that it is not a Quran. And he says, is there any water for this baby? At that point, the armies, they become soft in their hearts. At that point, they say to Harmala, Harmala, take out the spear. Finish this Ali al-Asghar. Harmala aims, and he shoots not with 1 point arrow, no, with 3. And he shoots. Imam al-Hussein's direction goes through Ali al-Asghar. The blood does not want to accept this anywhere. Not the ground, not the sky. Imam al-Hussein walks back and forth and he says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. What shall Imam Hussein do? What will he do? At that point, we should understand that we are the ones who should call out and we say, we are here for you, Imam al-Hussein. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
When I hear Ya Hussein, then I cry Ya Hussein, and I shed all my tears for my master Hussein. When I hear Ya Hussein, then I cry Ya Hussein,
and I shed all my tears for my master Hussein.
Every day Ashura, every land Karbala. Every day Ashura, every land Karbala. Every word that I say for my Mawla Hussein. When I hear Ya Hussein,
when I cry Ya Hussein,
and I shed all my tears
for my master
Hussein. When we lift up your flag, we remember your name. When the world all as one calls to you, O Hussein, we will stand by your side, as we know you're our guide. We will stand by your side, as we know you're our guide. In our hearts you remain, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. When I hear Ya Hussein, and then I cry Ya Hussein, and I shed all my tears for my master
Hussein.
When Muharram arrives and our tears start to flow, and the love in our hearts for Hussein only grows, we will raise our arms, we will send our salams, we will raise our arms, we will send our salams. Running through every tent we will cry, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. When I hear Ya
Hussein, when I cry Ya Hussein, and I shed all my tears for my master Hussein.
As we walk to your shrine, in our minds we reflect how you fought for Islam. We will never forget. But today you're alive, and your message will thrive. But today you're alive,
and your message will thrive,
running through our veins. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. When I hear Ya Hussein, then I cry Ya Hussein, and I shed all my tears for my master Hussein. So today we await the Imam of our time, who will bring peace on earth to the whole of mankind. Al-Ajal ya Imam Zaman. Al-Ajal ya Imam Zaman. We will follow your cry of Labayk ya Hussein. When I hear ya Hussein, then I cry ya Hussein, and I shed all my tears for my master Hussein. When I hear ya Hussein, then I cry ya Hussein, and I shed all my tears for my master Hussein. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد